relationship, intimacy, and sex therapist. I have 30 years of experience working with individuals, couples, and families in regards to intimacy, sex, personal growth and development, and life changes. Ask Todd is my opportunity to offer to the world an opportunity for you to live a life worth celebrating, to ask questions that are challenging you in life, and that you can achieve the goals that you desire, and again, live a life worth celebrating. Before we go into this section of Ask Todd, I want to share with you that based on the sensitivity of the information being shared, that the name has been changed to protect all of the innocent parties associated to this question. I'm going to ask that you like the video, leave whatever feedback, comment you'd like, whether on what you're hearing or something that you'd like to share, to like my YouTube page, and don't forget to press the notification bell such that as new content is being put out, that you can continue to join us on the ride. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and read this submission by Carla B. Again, the name has been changed to protect the innocent. From Huntsville, Alabama, she's 52 years old. Carla writes, I've cheated on my husband who is black and I'm white, but I've never did while I was sleeping in his bed or living in his house and not without being drunk. I'm sober now and finding out that he has equally had affairs, at least 5 of them, 4 of which she read in an email, one of which she actually spoke to the woman, and she gave a full story of their relationship that had lasted over a year. He's also lost his job or left his job of 28 years without giving her any feedback or input as to why. And she's afraid of whatever else she doesn't know about the relationship. He actually has never become truly clean about the affairs that he has had, even though he's required it of her. For him, he denies, and he told her outright he was not stopping his relationship with one of the women. And on New Year's Eve, she overheard a conversation where he was talking to this woman and apologizing for sleeping with that woman's best friend and saying that he loved his affair partner and that he asked for forgiveness and that he was sorry. These are things that he's never done with his wife. It makes me think sick, she says. It makes her sick to put these things out here in writing, asking this question. Her question isn't should she leave or not. Her question is because she understands, she knows the answer to that, but she can't leave. Anytime she leaves, she gets drunk, and then she doesn't want him to have anyone else. This is her 6th marriage, and she's figured she has to learn to live with this situation. So she's asking me for help in what to do to accept this situation. Now, before I go into a response, the response is a 6-part response. Because again, due to the sensitivity, the intensity of what's going on and the information shared, I want it to be very thorough because again, to my estimation, this is a woman who's in crisis. So I want it to be as helpful and as thorough as I could be in this format. So part 1, I know you're not supposed to answer a question with a question, but I started off with questions. It says, what is the cause of your drinking? Any substance abuse or of the kind is really masking someone that are dealing with stressors and pressures that are beyond their coping skills and beyond their strategies. So therefore, again, it's a mask. What are you running from? What are you hiding? What are you afraid of? What are your anxieties? And are they rooted in family of origin issues? And that would be my part 1. The part 1 of the questions are really questions. Now, part 2 of this is irrespective of the affairs in the relationship and what your husband is doing, it still had an adverse impact on the relationship, which is eroding the relationship. And again, you can attest to that because even though you had the affairs on him, you're also being impacted by knowing that he's had affairs on you and whatever else you don't know. So it's very clear how the adverse behavior, no matter who's doing it, is contrary to the types of experience in a relationship you want to have. Now, again, part 2 is fairly extensive, so work with me here for a moment. It says, it is having affairs is also cheating not just your partner, but it's also cheating yourself. It robs the individuals, whether one or the other or both, it robs you of what you're saying you actually want. It robs you of the relationship that you're currently in, the investments that you make, and it creates emotional unrest. Trying to maneuver two households, multiple households, is not as simple as one would think. In the specific case of your husband, him asking forgiveness of a girlfriend that he's never asked for of you, basically really gives you a clear message that he values that relationship more than the marital relationship. Part three, you drinking when you leave and not wanting anyone else to have him with the pain that you experience with him. I have to wonder, is there an attachment or abandonment issue that you struggle with coming into play with this statement? Where did you learn that relationships should mean pain, whether inflicted by you or inflicted by your partner? That's unhealthy. That's a learned behavior that comes from somewhere. And I think it's very important that you determine and figure out why. This being your sixth marriage, it's quite obvious that you are the consistent factor in this relationship and in all of the relationships. So you play a significant part in the dysfunction. And I'm a firm believer in anytime you change one part of a system, you change the whole system. So if you can take care of what's going on with you and your part of the dysfunction, it has a strong potential to change the relationship as a whole, but also impact the choices and decisions you make on a day-to-day basis. Part four, I think it's important for you to journal, really process your feelings and emotions and understand the root of where it comes from. Answering the question, who are you, without name, function, role, or title, more so focused on characteristics and behaviors. Whether you're comfortable with this feeling or not after writing this isn't important, because it's very important for you to know where you are so you can get to where you want to be. It's easy to get to California when you already know that you're located in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you're not clear and honest about where you are, how will you ever achieve a goal? So I think that's important for you to really understand where you are and what you desire to change so you can have the experiences that you want to have. In doing so, you identify the root cause of the dysfunction and you can build from there. Part five says, should you truly desire to accept your current situation as a norm, acceptance of your choice is very important. That will facilitate you not abusing yourself emotionally being in that type of construct. Also, with your partner, you may want to talk to him about changing the construct of the relationship, or just being an open relationship or a non-exclusive monogamous relationship, again, to see how that works. Part six and lastly, individual therapy is strongly encouraged prior to any relationship therapy. This will help you to gain clarity on what it is you really want, and even if you really want this situation. Your willingness to sacrifice yourself and continue to erode your emotional well-being should be investigated to understand why. I trust this will stimulate avenues of thought for you and a place and point you in a direction where you can become your greatest self and live a life worth celebrating. I thank you, Carla, for reaching out to us, and I really applaud your strength and courage for doing so. Bye for now. Talk to you soon, and if I can be of continued service, please feel free to reach out to us. Take care.